Hello everyone, and thank you so much for coming here today. So this is a new live stream, and I have decided I didn't put any votes today because many people asked me about plants. It was in the polls two times in a row, but many people are always asking me on my Discord channel about how the transparency work and how can I make low poly plants. So this tutorial today is really worth it because plants are kind of different to do than any other objects. And there is three things that we are going to see together that are very much in consideration comparing to other objects. The first one is the transparency, because we won't really mesh each leaf together or it will take too much polygon, or maybe we will, or we see. The second thing is the double side. So in order to save some polygons, we are going to use one polygon and the other side of it, so we don't have to create like a top and back of the leaf, so it doesn't count as one. And the third thing is low poly plants, because I know everyone loves plants, and the plant is kind of what makes the difference in your build. So making it low poly allow you to use as many as you want. So first I will have to say hello to everyone here. So we have Mayo, hi Mayo, and Mia and Felipe. Thanks again for coming here, Felipe, and Sunny Sims, and Harley Princess Davidson. Hello, thank you for coming in. And King Basie Sims for hey Sib, excited for this stream, especially since plants are one and I'm two I dodge where hopefully starting from today you want. And Beggy, love your work, thank you so much. And in Twitch we have Sonelanzi, hi, and 13 Pumpkin 31, hello. So as you might know, if you already seen my streams, I double stream on both Twitch and YouTube. So because the chats are not mixed, I am reading out loud all questions from one chat or another. So if I answer the question and you don't see it, it's because it's in the other chat. So Pascal is saying hello Syboulette, tu deviens de plus en plus doué, mille bravo et mille merci pour tout ce que tu fais, et foufoufou, c'est foufoufou et c'est magnifique. So this is in French and she says that I'm becoming better and better, thank you. And she says thanks for everything, and everything is beautiful, so thank you very much, Pascal. And Mayo, sí, yo puedo hablar español, pero hoy vamos a hablar en inglés. Do you have both chats open or do you use Livestream? No, I do have both chats open. I'm using Streamlabs, so I have both chats open. Anyway, so before starting, I wanted to show you the set I just finished today and that I released this afternoon. So I told you about it in my stream on Tuesday, and it's about spiral stairs. So I'm very proud of it. I spent a lot of time in it, and it's all thanks to Ravashing. Ravashing is an amazing CC creator, because this is not the one I want. Because she can tune and she can make the best modes, actually. Like she make functional stuff, and a few months ago she released some elevator. So I already made some elevator. I think you saw them if you know my work. Like this one, for example. And my spiral stairs use the same tuning, meaning the Sims won't actually climb the steps. Let's see how it is. come here, but she will be teleported right on top of it. Please hurry. And it's completely autonomous. No, Jorge, not now. So let's say I want her to go upstairs. She will be teleporting herself upstairs. Restream is a program that lets you merge chats over platforms, so you only need to read one chat. Oh, good to know. OBS Stream is supposed to do that, but the multi-stream is actually very buggy, so I'd rather have the two chats. And at least I know where the question comes from. Maybe it's the case for Restream, I don't know. Anyway, so I have 4 styles of spiral stairs. I have one with concrete, but you can also have them like half concrete and half wood, like this. Or you have all concrete or all wood. Restream have a little emblem next to the message showing if it's YouTube or Twitch. Oh, that's good to know. I will definitely have a look, but I do like Streamlab for now, especially since I can do like the layout and everything with it. Although I still need to do all my layout stuff. Like I have nothing animated on my channel. I'm very sorry about that. I'm not that fancy. My second favorite is this one. It's a architectural, so it's not really spiral, that one, but it's a shape that I can't do doing regular stairs with The Sims. So that was something I wanted to do because I really like, every time I was looking for references of stairs when I was doing like regular stairs for The Sims, I always stumble upon these stairs, and I was like, oh, I wish I could create that one because it looks amazing. And another one, I think it's upstairs. Yes, it's the wooden one. So if you make like, let's say, a farm, modern country house or anything, this is a wooden one. And the last one is a obviously industrial one because there wouldn't be any, where is it? Maybe it's not, it's probably not on the loft. When you're thinking of spiral stair, you're obviously speaking of industrial floor. Let me show you. So basically what you do is you select the bottom of the stairs you want with the right wall height. So because I'm in medium wall, I will put the medium wall, and then you go above upstairs and you put the top one. So the top one have a cutout, so it will create the cutout, and now my sim can go and use them, or actually being teleported by using them. So it's kind of semi-functional. Can't see your game. Sorry. All right. Now you can see. So I have explained everything, and you know, you missed everything. So let's. So sorry again. I'm still very new to all that streaming stuff, so hopefully I can get better to this. Sorry again. So okay, let me re-explain quickly. So this is all wood, wood and concrete, or concrete, and you have like white and black and beige. So you have many swatches. And then you have the modern one I was talking about, that the one I had inspired when I was looking for stairs. And please don't laugh. So this one is the one I always stumbled upon when I was looking for stairs references when I was working on regular stairs. And the third one is, where is it? I think it's here. I still didn't fix my UI after the last update. Where is it? There. So the wooden one here. So this is quick. This can go with yeah. This can go with country house or farm or something like that. Looks fashionable but dangerous. Yes, yes. These stairs is not for drunk people, not for toddlers, not for drunk people. Yep. And last one is the industrial one. So let me show you again the steps to build it. So basically, you look for the wall height of your build. What is it? And medium on the bottom, and then you go upstairs, and then you put the top on it. So the top has a cutout, so your Sims can use it like this. Come on, yes, teleported. Imagine stepping too far on the left side and slide. Yes, yes. So not for drunk people, not for toddlers, and not for socks. You have to wear slippers or shoes because, you know, you can sleep. Sleep. Hello, Sib. Finally got here while live. Hi, Maria. Welcome in. And Pascal is saying in French that she just tested them in game. It was a bit difficult at first, but then she thinks it's wonderful. So thank you very much, Pascal. You've done a great job, tips. Thank you so much. So there we go. We have spirals there. So hopefully in the future I can make even more model later on. Like for now, you have, I think those four cover kind of all the styles. I also tried to make some big one. This one is more small. I'm not even sure it's really realistic, the proportion, but anyway. So it's smaller, so it can fit smaller builds. I think it only takes, it's not even 4 tiles. I think it's like one and a half, stuff like that. Anyway, so leaving the game now, and now we are going to see what we are going to do. So the item we are going to work on today is for a secret project that I can't talk about. So I will do this object, but you won't be able to download it this month. Obviously, you can understand with the choice of my plant that it has something to do with Christmas, because those plants are Christmas plants. It's called poinsettia, and so I kind of doing 2 birds, 1 stone. So I'm doing my tutorial with this object, and this object will go in a collection that will be out next month, but I can't tell you about it because they might be listening. So poinsettia, I made a research about it because I searched for texture about these, and yes, secrets and plants. So I always thought that these were flowers, but they are not actually. So all of these are leaves, except those one become red and those one are green, but they are actually, everything are leaves. I think the flowers is what you see inside of it. So I found some very high polygon leaf. No, not high polygon, high definition texture of those leaves. So we are going to use them, but I'm going to Photoshop them before. And because we want to save some polygon, I probably don't mesh, even if it's not really realistic. I'm not sure I will mesh the bubbles like here. We'll see. Because sometimes it's so small, it's not really worth the polygon. So we'll see what we are going through the steps. Hello dear, hi, so Sister Sim, thank you for coming in. Welcoming. So plants. When I am doing plant, it's the first object where I actually start by the texture and not by the mesh, because we are going to use only a few leaf. So we are going to overlap the mesh and how to say it? We are going to overlap the UV map of our mesh. You will understand along the way. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this texture I found of my leaves in Photoshop. This is very, very, very big one. I think it's 4000, but my texture will be 124 as usual. So I'm just creating a new file, and because I don't like white, I prefer black, I will just put my background black. This is too bright because this is too yellow, and I think it's supposed to be the under the back of the leaf, so I won't use that one, but I will do use that one. So I'm just selecting roughly like this, and I will paste it but smaller on my texture. So because I will include the pot, the planter of my plant, I need to save some space. Sorry. I need to save some space on my texture for the unwrapping of my planter. So I will only use half, or like maybe a little bit more than half, but not too much of the space. I also need to remove the white, so I'm thank you for the follow, Tim Sonic, and welcome in. I will roughly use the I don't know how to call this in English. In French it's the magic wand. I think it's the same in English, I'm not sure. So I'm selecting the white in here, and then Ctrl Shift I to invert the selection, and Ctrl C, Ctrl V, so I don't have any white left. So this will be our regular green plant. Let's see again the reference. The thing I like with poinsettia is usually the green is kind of dark and desaturate. So I'm going to desaturate it and make it a little bit darker and less contrasted, like this. Maya says, I'm making CC on one screen and listening your video on the other. Excited for the plant. Haven't done it from scratch yet. Yes. Yes, very exciting. So that will be first leaf. I will use that one to actually make the red one. So I will just change its color so it becomes red, because it's basically the same red plants. So we just put it aside from the other and remove the white, and then how will I do that? How is my reference? So I probably need to keep the branch here, or at least the beginning, out of the way. So I'm roughly changing it, but it will be so small that we won't really see the difference. So I can still do that later. So because I want to be able to change my mind, instead of modifying directly the texture here, I will just Ctrl C copy and Ctrl Shift V. It's pasting at the exact same space. So basically I just how can I show you? I just copy paste the little branch of it. So now with this one I can try, there is several ways so I can recolor it. So I can either use, thank you for the follow and welcoming AB. 13 Bambi says, I have met one plan. It came out super cute, but I think I went about it the wrong way. Happy you are doing this. There's no wrong way, but sometimes there are smarter way or faster way. So you can either use Control U, which is hue, saturation, light, and you can try, but sometimes it won't work because as you can see, if I zoom in, it will create some very strange pink, and I don't want that. So I will still use it and put the saturation down, but then I will also use the Control B, which is the balance, the color balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yellow and the red because that's mostly what are closer to the result I want to go. I can also use the magenta, but I can also see that those lines are too bright, too white for what I want. Like if I open up again, these are not that much contrasted. So I will probably need to completely remove the white of it. And it doesn't really work how I want. So let's think. Maybe I should first remove some contrast because it's too much contrasted. How could I go to this? Maybe I will just put it darker. Do you ever use the replace color option on Photoshop? I do, but it depends. It's not always working. Like I could have tried, for example, to remove the pink here by using the so let me show you again, sorry, slowly. So I go in image, and this should be settings, I don't know in English, sorry, my Photoshop is in French, and then replace color here, and I just move down saturation, and I can move the tolerance so it's like include or not. You can see how much it is affecting well, the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first set the level. So I don't want this to be how to say, to be too contrasted. So first I'm just thinking about my leaf in black and white. So I just want my white to be darker, and then I can go back in my color balance and I can put back my red, and so it doesn't look too, sorry, can't do two things at the same time. So it doesn't look too contrasted, I guess. So just a little bit more red and maybe more saturation and darker. And now we can see that the branch thingy is not the right color. So I will also change its color. So make it, well, I won't keep it, probably. If you see the model, like the original, the references, there it's a fake one, it's not a real one. We can see it here. They didn't bother making the leaves green, so we probably do the same. So it's probably a bit too dark because the sim has a tendency to darken our model, so we definitely should have it less dark for now. We can still go back to it later. It's also a little bit too pink, so let's go that way. And let's check again my references. Where is it? Here. We could make one in between, like we could take that one and duplicate it and maybe make it smaller because it will be for smaller leaf. And then I'm just Control A, select everything, Control C, copy, and Control Shift V, so I paste in place. And this one I will do the same that I just did with the one in the middle, meaning that I will reduce the contrast like this and put it all red, like this. And so Sean says, your say out the best. Thank you so much, Sean, and welcoming. And then I'm going to use roughly a mask. So I'm going to click here to make a mask. And then I'm going to take a brush and let's see how it's done. All right, and I'm going to erase some of the red in here to make reappear the green. So it looks like the third will look more like a 2 colors leaf. So let's try first with a soft brush like this to see how it goes. And so for now I'm just following like this. And then I will take something smaller, maybe something a little less classic, and I just go along the way. Maybe all that much. So the nice thing about the mask is that I can still go back. So if I change my color here with white and black, so black is hiding and white is showing, so I can still okay, I should use something more like this. So I can still move back to my image. It's not final. Whatever modification I do, it's not final. So I can always go back like this. And I can also use the gray, so it will be kind of transparent. So I can create some in between. And then I can also see that this leaf behind is also a little bit yellow. It's not for green. So I will put it a little bit yellow and a little bit lighter and a little less saturated, like this. Felipe is asking, have you ever worked in SketchUp? No, I didn't. I think I just learned 3D with Blender, so I never tried something else. So I'm not thrilled with what I'm doing. I don't know what you think, but it's not amazing. So I'm not sure I'm going to use that actually. I think it's just look more realistic when I just, I don't know. Not crazy about it. Yeah, maybe it's supposed to be more subtle. Maybe, so maybe smaller in here and more along that way. But then So sometimes, you know, you start something and then you change your mind, and that's fine. But I think I'm going to keep it because it will add a nice change to our leaves. So let's maybe reduce a little the contrast from that one too, like this. And that's it for now for our leaves. Another thing we are going to do is, just in case our mesh go, how to say it, okay, we see later. So what I was going to say is that sometimes I use the background not as black, but something very close to what I have here. So then I can use a DDS, the alpha channel, to set the mask of my texture. Okay, let me explain you while I'm doing it. So the shortest way, the easiest way you would do that is just save your texture as PNG, and we are doing that for Blender. But so this is gonna be poinsettia leaf texture. I'm going to use a green like this on my background, except for these two, where I'm going to use a rough red, like this. But I'm not going to use the transparency of the PNG. I'm going to use the alpha channel or a DDS. So basically I'm going to select all my leaves. No, this one, and this one. So it's Control-Shift-Click to select my leaves. And then I go in my channels and I add my alpha channels, and what I have selected, I will invert my selection by doing Control-Shift-E and then Control-E to make it black. So now I'm pretty sure that what's in red will disappear and what's in white will show in game. So I'm going to save this. So first I'm going to save it in PSD so I can keep it. And then I'm going to save it as DDS, leaf texture. So Death of the Earth say, so incredible to see the process step by step. You're such a great helpful teacher. It's really impressive you learn how to make so many gorgeous realistic creation. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for your nice comment. And it just took a lot of tutorials watching to learn how to do all of this. So yes, it's a lot of time, but it's also very fun. One last thing I need to do is actually make something of my I need to make an opacity map, because in Blender, if I want to be able to visualize what I'm going to do, I will need an opacity layer. So what I do is what I just did in alpha. I will Control A, Control C to copy, and then I make a new texture by 124 and paste it, and this will be a PNG. Please, oh, that's because it's in gray mode. No, I can't. And this will be my opacity map. Okay, so now I'm going to open Blender. So once again, I'm sorry, I'm doing this tutorial is in Blender 2.76 because Sims 4 Studio is only working with Blender 2.76 or previous. I know the new Blender is better, but I learned with Blender 2.67, and because I learned Blender for The Sims, I kind of never evolved to it. So, sorry. If you're using Blender 2.9, it's completely fine. The process is probably very close being the same. Perhaps the shortcuts won't be the same because they kind of change all the shortcuts after 2.8. But it's basically the exact same basic. The process is the same. Just the tools won't be exactly the same. The shortcut won't be exactly the same, but the process is completely the same. And if you do use 2.9, the only thing you need to do is save your file, and then you open 2.76 and append your model, so you can save it with 2.76 or lower before importing it in Sims 4 Studio. And Felipe says, thank to my teacher Sibs could make my first cabinet. Well, congratulations on making your first object. I hope it will be the first of another one of a long series of CC. Anyway, so basically we are going to do the leaves, like the whole plant, and we are going to do also the planter. Probably we start with this so we can already have it and have our preparation of proportion. And what we are going to do is we are going to first mesh the leaves, and then we are going to place them after. So to create the leaf, I'm going to import the texture we just made as a background images. So in Blender, on the N right tab here, you have a background image. So you can open it and add image and open the texture we just made. So it's here, so you can click on here to have a, so we can see what we did. So I'm going to open the PNG here. So for now it's a little too big, so I can resize it. And it's not very important about the size from our final item, because we will still be able to resize it later. So I have nothing in my scene. I will create a plane by doing Shift A plane. So for now we just have a basic square like this. So we are first going to do that one, the green one. Hi Ravshin! So Ravshin just made a tutorial on her channel about UV mapping. So if you want to learn more about UV mapping and to understand the process of unwrapping, which is kind of very difficult and confusing when you start, you can definitely rewatch her tutorial because it looked really nicely done and easy to understand. Plants are so hard. Yes, they are. Or they're not that hard. They are hard if you want to make them low poly, because you know when polygons are unlimited, you can do very amazing plants, but it's very hard to make them, you know, low poly. So what I'm doing, I'm going back because I'm speaking and I'm forgetting to explain what I'm doing. So I added a plane, and by using I forgot the little thingy here. Start. So by hitting Ctrl R, I'm going to add here a ring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place roughly this where I want it to be. So here you have two choices of where and how to place your plane. The first choices is you don't want to use alpha transparency, and that means that your plane and the shape of your leaf will have to stay inside the shape of your leaf. Why would you do that? the first reason you would do that is how the game uses transparency in the Sims is very crappy. It usually makes the edge of the texture very pixelized, and it looks like aliasing a lot, if you know what I mean. So usually I try to avoid it. So the con about not using transparency is that you will have to use more polygon to actually get the shape of your plant. So it's more difficult to make low poly without using transparency, but the result will be nicer because you won't use the alpha transparency from the game, which is very crappy. Hi Little Dika, thank you for coming in. And Pascal is saying, hello Ravishing, well done and thank you for what you do. It's fantastic. Yes, it's definitely Ravishing. We just had a look of the spiral stairs I made thanks to your amazing tuning. And everyone is so happy to have those possibilities, and me the first to be able to work with it. Anyway, so for the sake of this tutorial, because this shape of plant is it's kind of very basic, we are going to stay within the shape of our plant. But when we go in game, I will show you. Actually, I will show you right away. We can still continue to work on it, so you can understand how it works directly in game. How you can see the difference and what's the better choice for you. And so once I have this, I'm going to use, so I'm in the front view, and that's the best way to have my plane on the same level. So to be in the front view, you just need to hit 7. So 7 is like the strict front, no, not front view, top view, sorry. So then I hit E to extrude. And then I can go in my wireframe view with Z, and I can move around my vertices. So what I usually try to do is keeping the center line following the center line, because you will see later that we are going to fold it. So if the line is following the center of your plant, then it will have a better shape, a more realistic shape. So we are very tempted to add something here, you know, to add some more roundness to our leaves. But this kind of small detail is what creates very high poly plants. So I'm usually trying to keep it as low as possible, even if it won't look that realistic in the end. But you see that when it's like fluffy, I don't know if we can talk about fluffy for a plant, but for me it makes sense. So when the plant is fluffy, then the shape of the leaf doesn't matter anymore. So for example, what do I have as plant so I can show you? Decoration. So in the plant I made, I have a bit of everything. So for example, this one uses alpha transparency. So you can see that if I zoom in, we can see the kind of pixelized edges. This one doesn't have alpha transparency because it's mesh, it's a solid mesh of a succulent. This one uses alpha transparency because if I wanted to do all the cutout inside the shape of the leaves, it would have taken me a lot of polygons. So this one has alpha transparency. This one has not. So this one is actually very clean because all the leaves are modelized inside the shape of the plant. This is what I aim to do for our plants. You can see that I can still put a lot of leaves without this being a high polygon. This is here the leaves are not using alpha transparency. You can see as a result that the shape of the leaves is a little bit octagonal, but when you zoom out, it doesn't really matter. And what else? I think this one doesn't use one, but those one are a little bit higher polygon, so it's kind of cheating, because I was allowing myself more with that set, and now I'm really trying to stay low whatever I do. This one is obviously using alpha transparency, so you can see how it becomes pixelized. So I hope you understand the difference now, and you can understand which choice do you have when you're making a plant. Oh, one last example. When you're doing palm. When you're doing palm, you don't have the choice, because obviously if I wanted to do each palm separately, it would be very, very high poly. So this is like one rectangle here for one leaf. And when I'm zooming in, it looks nice, but when you're zooming out, it sometimes looks pixelized. But this one, I really try to make it the best possible. I think my tall one are less nice. Yeah. It's still okay, but yeah. Anyway, so now you understand why we actually have a choice between choosing the alpha transparency or not. So what I'm going to do with my poinsettia is, because the leaf are kind of very simple shape, it's not as complicated like that one. I think this is a monstera. I'm going to keep it inside of the shape like I did for this plant. So let's leave and continue our plant. So, oops, sorry. So I need to extrude one more time, like this. And I can move. And you see also that those edges, I also keep them in the same direction of the plant. Like I'm following those. I don't know how to say in English. Let me check. In French, it's nerveux, so it's vein. Okay, vein, makes sense. So I'm following the vein of the leaf. I guess vein. Yes, thank you. I'm learning new words with you guys. So I won't do the. Okay, this is another word I don't know. Tige. Stem. So I'm not doing the stem because that will be part of something later, and it will be easier to handle the leaves if they are separated from the stem. So for now, I'm just doing the leaf. I will open the texture on my UV map here. So because I use them as a background image, it's already in here. So I'm clicking on this image here. Thank you, Sally Pumpkin. You will be my dictionary from now on, please. And I'm clicking on my poinsettia here, because now I will unwrap this leaf and I will position it above my texture here, so it will be exactly as I draw it. So I select it and use unwrap project from view. And because I use this exact view here, I should be able to put it exactly the way I draw it, like this. Now I can use the same shape for my second leaf here, And then I can just move around the vertices one by one. So I will keep it selected and hit Shift D to duplicate and put it here. So now I just need to move around the vertices. So as before, I'm putting the vertices from the center stem, following the line, the center line. And then I'm just moving this, and I'm making sure that my edges stay inside of the shape. I also want the red one, especially the red one, if you see here, to be very pointy, because this is kind of what makes poinsettia. And oops, this. So you have also you also need to be careful not to create a weird polygon like this. You can see that it's kind of going away. So you need to avoid that. I think it won't look good. I'm going to go back to it. Okay, just for the sake of the red one, I'm going to add a ring in here. So this we can have pointy. Like this. Overlapped. Thank you so much. Again, pumpkin. That's very cute, pumpkin. So here, and I'm just moving my points to fit my new shape. So the second one we can also unwrap. So unwrap, project from view. So I select the new one, and then I just fit inside my UV map like this. And then I will repeat again for the last one. And because it's a small one, I will keep the same. So Shift it to duplicate. And I'm moving around the pieces again to make fit for the new shape. Like this. And this one also as well, unwrap, project on view, and I'm going to overlap my subtexture like this. There. So if I select all three of them, they are already unwrapped. So while now we are going to modify those, we won't touch those one ever, because those one need to keep the exact position so they can keep their texture. And actually we will create those textures, so when we will create the plant we can actually see what we are doing. So I'm going to create a new material here. I have to be in cycle render here, and I will create new, and in here I'm going to choose the texture I made. So by using PNG here, if I go in material view, it will actually have the texture I just applied. OMG, I love you, CC. I have an English exam soon. Wish me luck. Hi, Elysia. Thank you. Welcome in, but I guess you won't stay because you have to go for your English lab. So good luck. And what are you doing in my stream if you have an English exam soon? go to work and go study, and you know, good marks are not really useful in life, but they help. But if you don't have good marks, that's completely fine. I was not that good at school. Well, so now, as I said before, we are going to fold it. So one by one, I'm going to use the little point I have here to create them a more organic shape. It will be difficult because we don't have that many points. Obviously, if we had more polygon, it would be much more easier. But because we have only like a 10 point for each leaves, we have to be patient. We don't have any choice, but it's worth it. First, I will fold it that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the connected proportional editing, meaning when I will move, so first if I hit G, you can see that there is this ground big circle, and the circle indicates the area where the modifying will affect everything that is around what I have selected. So the smaller the area, the smaller it affects, but if I actually scroll up, it will affect more of it. So the point of this is like if I select my center line and hit G and Z, it will move the central line, but it will also slightly move what is around it. So I can slowly edit my leaf to have a more realistic shape. Another thing I want to do is like, so I can bend it that way, but I can also bend it that way. And if the way it's bent is not as I want, you can also change here the proportional editing fall off. So by default is the smooth one, but I often use the sharp or sphere depending on how I want to modify how the proportional editing is affected, for example. But for what I want to do, smooth is fine because it will actually bend it, but not that much. I can also use rotation like this. And then because I want my plants to be a little bit more lively, it's probably a good idea to don't have all symmetric. So I will just move around the bit separately like this. If you want to see what it looks like, you can also go in solid and hit smooth. So it will be more like the real result you will have in game. And depending on the plant you're doing, you can use a sharp on the center, but you will have to use a edge split modifier. But it will depend on the plant you are going to use. In our example, because we don't have that much polygon, it might be not necessary. Maybe for the red one actually. Now that I know that I'm seeing the, maybe we keep it like this. So I'm doing it again for the red one. So Z like this, and then on top of it as well. Let me have a look. It's not that much actually. The leaf, the red leaf is not that much, but this is it. This is. And the last one, I will make it have, so let's sharp this. And the last one will have a bit of a wave. So let's put it this just a little bit. And this one will go up and this one will go down. So it's kind of wavy like this. So for now we are going this, and maybe we will make more if we need to, if it looks too weird and too similar. But for now we are going to use only those ones. So I'm going to move them on the side, and I'm going to remove the background because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to drink first. And now we are going to do what we came for, meaning the plant. So, you have coffee. Well, it's midnight here, so I'm definitely not having coffee. I won't sleep at all night, and I don't want it. Hi, mommy. Thank you for the follow and welcome in. Let's do the planter first, so we can have the proportion. So I will do because I'm kind of saving as much polygon as possible, so my poinsettia is the best ever. I'm going to create something very, very simple. I won't use that because this is kind of ugly. I won't use that one either because it looks too nice and too high poly. So I will probably use something more generic like this, so I can focus on my plant and not really on the pot, so we can work on a nice texture later on Substance Painter. So I just create a cylinder, and 16 will be enough. And remember, the one tile in Blender is one tile in game. So if I want a poinsettia being a kind of normal size, poinsettia are not that big but not very small either, so maybe something like this. I will just select the bottom and make it like a little bit smaller like this, and then I will use a bevel, so Control B to make it rounder, maybe like this, because I really want to save some polygon. And then E to extrude, and S to, oh, I need to remove the additional proportional editing first. No, remove it, disable. Like this, and then E to extrude again, like this. There. So basically it's only what we have. We are going to unwrap this. So I'm marking seams here, which will be the soil. And then I'm going to unwrap this and just put a seam line here, and here. Mark seam. And let's smooth it. And this will be sharp. Oops. So I thought, ooh, I didn't put in the same, so sorry. I'm supposed to put it in the same mesh cut, so I thought I had the Edge Bliss modifier. It was already there, but not on the right one. So for now, I'm going to keep it that way, and if we have more polygon at the end, I can always add it, but I want to see how my plant goes first. So I'm going to unwrap it. So by hitting E, and then I'm going to place my UV where I have space, depending on my leaves, because my leaves will stay here, so I need to use the space I have left. So first I'm going to straighten this by using the plugin I'm talking about on all my streams and in my UV map tutorial, which is the UV squares. So if you want this plugin, you have the download link under the description of my UV square UV unwrapping tutorial on YouTube. And what it does is it straightens the mesh, so it's very handful. Oops. So R and 90 to rotate it, and I'm going to make it just the right size under our leaves. So it's big, it's as big as we can. like this. I love that plugin. I have saved my brain and time. Yes, me too. And I kind of got it very recently, so I don't know how I did before having it. Like sometimes I was doing it by hand, like using the SY0 and all in each line. It was crazy. I don't know. I'm crazy. So this is all around, and actually I separated the soil from the top, but it was not useful. So I'm clearing. Let me untoggle the sharp here so you can see the seams. So I have cleared the seams here, and I will actually unwrap it in one island, so I can actually save space because the soil will be inside the top of it. So this needs to be bigger because it's on top of our mesh, so I can make it bigger like this, and we will have all the detail we need. But this is the bottom. This is like, we won't see it ever, so this can be small. We really don't care at all, like this. Maya says, I really appreciate you keeping everything as low poly as possible. After I learned how to use Sims 4 Studio, I started checking some of my install CC and saw some simple pieces with over 30,000 polygons. Yes, definitely yes. Creators do what they want, meaning you start creating CC. It's your choice what you want to put in your CC, and it's supposedly the choice of the downloader to download what they want. There are some people who have very powerful and strong computers, and having a 30,000 polygon item, it doesn't affect their computer. It doesn't affect my computer. But there are also other people that don't have very powerful computer and don't have the money to have like the latest nicer computer. And also some people that just don't know the difference, and they just download what looks nice, and they kind of break the computer, or that they complain that CC are making the computer slow, and that's basically only because their computer can't handle it. So there's one hand the creator who wants to do whatever he wants, and that's his choice, but at least they should tell people how their CC are created. So if they want to do high polygon, that's their choice completely. And if people want to download high polygon, it's also their choice, but they should be aware. I think that's my opinion about it. Anyway, so let's go back to our reference. So what we can see is that the red parts are making kind of bundles. So, and the green leaves are not that much. So there are more red leaves than green leaves. So we are first going to start creating some bundle of red, and this bundle will be the same for everything. So basically we're doing by reverse the plant. Usually when a plant is growing, you do the stem, and then you do the leaf, and then you do the flowers, considering the red is the flower. We know it's not on the poinsettia, but whatever. We are going to do the opposite. We created the leaf, and then we will create the bundle. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. My accent is horrifying, but I think I should watch more Netflix. I'm reading in English too much, and I don't watch enough TV shows. So we are going to make the bundles, and then we are going to duplicate them, and then we are going to link them with Steam, because at the end, if our plant is fluffy, I know fluffy is not the right term, but I don't care. I like fluffy. So if our plant is fluffy at the end, the Steam inside, we don't care. So I can dream it will never be as fluffy if we want to keep the polygons low, but I'm going to try how far can I go with my fluffy plants. And So Lady Spartacus say, I'm always worried on using high poly, so I really appreciate when you tell us if it's high or low poly. Yes, and also the thing about high poly and low poly is it really depends on the item. Like if I'm using, for example, a lift, an elevator that I made, which is kind of high poly, but you intend to only use one in your lot because, you know, there's only one elevator, then that's fine. But if you're using a clutter that it's like 30,000 polygon and you are going to like put it in every room, it really makes a difference. But you should also know that CIS items for the Sims are also awfully high poly. So sometimes, you know, you think a plant is very high poly while a hair, like some hair you can download, can go above 40,000 polygons, same with dresses and everything. And sometimes on your lot you have like 30, 40 Sims at the same time. So that's also very big. I know Tessa is very less strict on polygon for CIS item because in their point of view, the Sims is kind of the center of the game and not the building part. So I don't really agree with that because some people play the Sims only to build and not really to play. So I don't really agree with that. So you have to be careful with everything, and it all depends on your computer. Like if you see that your computer is starting to slow down, it's definitely because you have too much CC, but it's not always about the quantity. It's also about, so yes, the polygons, but also the size of your texture. A texture which is 2000 polygons for an item that's not really worth it. So sometimes it does worth it. Like if you make a bed, the blanket of the bed is pretty big, so you have a 2000 texture, it's nice. If you have, I don't know, a notebook, and it's 2000, it's like this size in the game, but it has 2000. So even if you are completely zoom in on the object, it doesn't make sense. But a 2000 resolution texture takes 4 times the size of a 1000 because it's 2 by 2. It's not twice the size, it's 4 times the size. So this is what really slows down a computer, especially when you are going in build mode and you have your catalog very slow. That's usually because of the textures. I always list poly with my sets and I try to keep everything as low as possible. Yes, that's a good idea to actually say so how much poly you have, but people usually don't know what it means. Like, okay, it's 4K polygons, but what it means. Is it high? Is it not high? So basically what TSR uses is like 2K per tile. And then that's just a reference, and then it depends on the item. Usually for plants I go higher, and for something that will be like 1 tile but up, I can go higher too. So it depends. It's your choice and your judge. There's no rule, but I like to point the facts so people know the circumstances. No, know the context to make their choices. There. End of this. And now the plant. So let's create a bundle. So as a reminder, this is our green leaf, this is the red leaf, and this is the leaf with both color, which I actually like now. So someone said that when we were zooming, it was not looking as good, and they were right. It actually looks better now that it's far away. So we are going to use a little bit of both. Usually, probably this as centerpieces and this does around. So I won't touch this for now. I'm just going to duplicate it so I can go back to it later. Then I can modify it without touching those. So I'm taking the red one by using L and the small one, like this. And duplicating here for now. It looks like their baby. Yeah, kind of. I think it's a baby leaf. So there's like one here, and one bigger here. So we can see here, when zooming, that there is kind of 3 layers. There is like a star of small one, like another one of bigger one, and then a last one more spread and bigger, like this. So we are going to copy this. So, sorry, my hair is escaping, like this. So I'm going to start with the first layer. So I'm going to duplicate that one and that one. I will make them the same size because those are the children. So let's say these are the baby leaves. So those are the baby leaves, like this. I'm going to rotate them. And let's have a look again. We can also see that those leaves are a bit narrower. So actually, before rotating them, we are going to resize them on the x-axis. So SX to make them a little more narrow than the one we will use later. And another thing we can notice is that they are also more bended on the center. They kind of already is more bended. Well, I won't touch it more than that. Like a taco. Well, yes, like a taco. Yes. So I'm going to select that one and rotate it like this. Let's see. So they are kind of not that close. And that's the right one as well. And before, I don't want it to look too like I copy paste everything. I'm going to just move it a little bit with the additional proportional editing connected. So I can change a little bit my shape. And so if you want to see the result, you can always put the material view so you can see what you're doing. I also want to see my other references like this, because on that one we don't see that much the inside. These references we see a lot this, but I'm not sure I'm going to use the bubbles. I don't know how to call this, the kind of the flowers, I think. So see, on this one we barely see it, so I probably use that one as more as an example. But on this one, it's also more like this. So I'm going to put them more together, so we kind of hide what's supposed to be in the middle. So I can also use the mirror, so it doesn't look exactly the same. So I'm using Ctrl M X, it will mirror it on X, and don't forget to flip direction, because every time you are using the mirror, it will reverse the normal. I don't know why. Like this, and last one. We can also move individually the vertices, so it will create a unique leaf, and then it will also avoid having overlapping leaves. Look fluffy. No, it's not fluffy yet. Hi Mitchy, thank you for coming in. It's not fluffy yet, but it will be. I want it to be fluffy. It's so fluffy, I'm gonna die. Like this. All right. So that is the first layer of leaves, the baby leaves, the baby leaves league. Like this. Now we are going to create the second one. So the second one is not the reference I want. The second one is also long and bigger, definitely bigger. So again, we are going to use one that is half green and one that is red. So we are going to make them bigger on Y and just bigger. And also I want them to be kind of same size, like this. So let's see which one is which one though. This is the green one. So like our example, I will make it opposite of it, like this. So I have to make them smaller, and I will also rotate them so it will look like they kind of embrace them. Where's my reference? That one. Yes. All right. So not fluffy yet, but getting there. Then this one, we place it here. Like this. So this is taking a bit long, and plants are always longer and difficult to make. But once we create this fluffy bundle, then we will be able to duplicate it a lot, because we are going to use exactly the same bundle every time. So you do this once, and then you place the bundle all around, just at once. One thing I'm going to do as well is, for now, I'm going to put this in another mesh cut, so I can see exactly how much I have only with my plants. For example, if I delete dues, which are only my example, I can see that for now my bundle is 100 polygon, which means if I'm allowing an item to be 2000 polygon, and my planter is for now, let's say 200, it means that this plant I can go up to 1800. So if this is my final bundle, it won't be, but if it's my final bundle, it means I can make 18. So that's a lot, that's very fluffy. So I can keep track of how much I can put in. So because I kind of make half of it, and there's still missing the stem, it will basically be half of it. So I think I will be able to make 8 or 9 bundle, which is a lot. So probably less than that. We'll see. Sorry. More work. And my cat is nowhere to be seen. I don't know where she is. I think she's avoiding me. She doesn't want to be a star. She doesn't know what she's missing. Anyway, so material. So the red one, that's the one. So I'm going to duplicate it again. And then I'm going to modify it a little so it does look different from the others. Sometimes I'm just moving around like this. It's not particularly cool, so it's just different. I also want to make them more pointy. Like this. Again, Shift D. Like this. And one last one. Like this. Not bad. Okay, I'm going to save because I didn't save yet, so that could be a good idea. There. Pee-wee. Yes, Pee-wee. Pee-wee. Not interested. Okay, final round of this is going a little bit too far. Like this. Final round of leaves. I made a mistake because I removed them when I was showing you, so I'm just going to reuse those one. I shouldn't have deleted. I wanted to delete them and then Control Z, and I forgot, so I kind of lost them. That was stupid, but that's fine. We're almost done. So I'm going to reuse those, I guess. We don't really have a choice anyway. So what I'm going to do is I select all my bottom layer and Shift D, and I'm going to go here, and then I'll go S and then RZ to rotate. And now let's see my material. Where is it? No, here, material. So you can see now that there is too much of a difference between the red here and the red here. So when we go back to our texture later, we probably need to lighten this texture because it looks too much different. But for now it's okay because then we can spot it better while working on our item. But for later it would be nicer if it was actually less contrasted. So I'm just making those leaves bigger because they are bigger, the one from but I also want to keep them kind of pointy. There. So we have one bundle, and that's 228 polygons. Happens all the time, yes. Yes, we are stupid all the time. So I will also try to take all the bottom and create something like this. OK. So I'm just doing the final touches, so it doesn't have any leaves overlapping like this. I really want it to be clean. All right. So this time I won't make the same mistake. So I'm going to keep this here, and I'm going to Shift D. So now I can create my bundles. I can create the shape of my plant. So if I take this example of this fluffy, you can see that sometimes they are very open and sometimes they are more closed in the inside. So we are going to create 3 different from this. So I'm going to keep that one, which is very, very open, like this, but I also going to duplicate it like this, and this time I'm going to use the enable proportional editing. So that means whatever point I will choose and then I will modify, it will modify everything around it, whether it's the same part of the mesh or not. So that way I can actually edit all of it together. So for example, if I take each point and S, I can modify everything at once. So then I just need to move everything back, but then I have to untoggle my proportional editing so I can fix some little thing that got messed up in the process. For example, this. Like this, and that will be the second one. And for now I'm going to keep them apart, because if I want to be able to select them very easily, it's easier if they are a bit apart. And the last one will be probably kind of the same as that one, because I really like that shape and it's probably easier to manipulate. So what I do here to select is I'm using the C selection, so I'm drawing in the middle, so I'm pretty sure everything will be selected, and then I use Ctrl+ to select everything around, so it kind of copy everything. I'm going to duplicate it, and this one I will same by using my proportional editing enable. I will also create another shape like this. Like this. So it's kind of roughly deformed, but kind of works too, because the more random you're using the transformation, the more realistic it will look, because you know nature is kind of random too. So I'm just fixing some unrealistic consequences of it, like having those weird edges, creating unrealistic triangles. There's probably something wrong in here too. But those are very small details, but you know, you want it to be, because we are spending so much time, it's better be perfect. All right, good enough. Okay, so now it's the fun part, because now that we have our item, we can our shapes, we can actually make the shape of our plants. So I'm going to select this one, and now we are going to play with front view, which is 1, top view, which is from well, the top, and side view. What we want to do here is create a balance in the shape of our leaves. So it doesn't have a hole. So we want that everywhere we turn around from the plant, we will be able to see it. So this is a little bit bigger compared to what we have here. So I first place my leaves from the top view, so I'm pretty sure they are all around, and then I'm going to rotate them. So let's keep some save here so I can select them easily, because once I will be placing them with everything, it will be more difficult to actually select them. So now it's just playing around with the control of moving, so G, and rotating, so I can place everything I want where I want. So I'm going to use that one too, and I'm going to duplicate it also, and then I'm moving it. So little by little. Oops, there's still the editing active. I'm going from top to bottom. I'm going to create my fluffy buckets, my fluffy, I don't know, my fluffy bushes, bush. Sorry. That one again. This I probably use only once because it's kind of difficult to place. Hi, Hello Official, thank you, welcoming, and thank you for the follow. So I'm going to place it probably here, and then go in my side view and make it smaller like this. Oops. And don't worry for now about everything that's overlapping, because we can still fix this later. Hi, love your build, Cici. Thank you so much for making amazing stuff for free. You are very welcome. Making it free is very important to me, because you know, I'm spending so much time on it. What's the point if it's only a few people that can actually use it? It's kind of pointless. So now I can just move my leaves with having the connected. So the connected is the same that the one we used before, but when I'm using it will only influence the one connected, meaning that it's only these leaves and not the other leaves around. So to move leaves, it's easier and faster. So you can see that basically in the process of making plants, the proportional editing is very important, because it will help you move around leaves while keeping its organic shape, and it kind of make you earn time, because you don't have to move all the points, and you can still move just the point while having also the rest of the leaf follow. So it's as if you were manually rearranging the plant. And you don't have to fix everything. Like if there are like 1 or 2 leaves that actually go inside, that just don't forget that when you will activate, you won't actually see the difference. Like if there is one that is moving somewhere, like in the fluffy final result, no one will see, oh, there's one leaf that go. No one will. Oh, if it does, yeah, well, good for you for noticing it. I'm going to use that one again. In here. Like this. Very good. All right, so that looks very good, and we still have some polygon left, so we can add maybe 1 or 2 more. I think maybe 1 more, and then we are going to place the one. So probably like 4 of them would be perfect. I think we still have the stem to place, but we won't need a lot, so that's fine, I think. Let's see. Okay, let's create them and then place them so we can see. I think we are going to stop here. So we are 180 and 1,800 with this, with 180, and then we have the stem. So we will be just a little bit above 2,000, which is nice for a plant. For Teresa, it's a bit too much, like just a bit, but we can always save space later by removing 1 leaf or 2. We'll see at the end. So now I only need to place those 3 here. So I'm going to place the bigger one first, because then I can just place the hole, fix, close the hole, yes. Gonna be so cute. Yes, perfect for Christmas. I love it actually when it's the season for those plants, because they last long. Like I usually buy them potted, and they last maybe two months. And I love also buying the white one. I need to make a swatch for the white one because they are my favorites, the white one. Because my Christmas tree is usually blue and gold and white. It's not the classic gold and green and red. I like making it blue. So having my poinsettia white is making it more beautiful. I hate plants in IRL but love them in The Sims. I'm very bad. I love plants in real life, but I'm really bad at keeping them alive because I always forgot to water them. All right, not bad. So last one will be here, and second last one will be here. Right, almost there. Now it's getting fluffy. Yes, there. Now it's fluffy. Now we're talking. Yes, now we are definitely getting there. We're almost done. I just need that last piece of fluffiness. And voila. Okay, let's see the result. Not bad. Not bad, except that we don't have any polygon left for our steam, so not good. But that's fine. That's fine. I mean, for Tessa it's not fine, so I should really lower it just a little bit. So how can I do that? Well, first I will reunite my plant and this. I don't want to remove everything. Okay, I'm going to create the stem and then I will see about removing whatever, because, you know, I don't want to touch everything I did right now. So, how do I do the stem? It's pretty simple. Okay, first I need to center my plant because I don't need it really centered. No. So you can see that the planter is here. So I just need to readjust my plant to be all around it perfectly. More than that, like this. And then I can, oops, sorry. I moved everything and I forgot I have the proportional editing on again. Sorry. There. Okay, let's remove that one. That's cool. We lost a little, that's fine. Okay, so the stem. What we are going to do is we are going to make a cylinder with only 3 faces, because when we apply the smooth modifier, even if it's a triangle, like a cylinder with 3 faces, it won't make a difference. Let me show you. So I'm going in my objects and I create my cylinder with only 3 here. Only 3 faces. 3 faces. 3, no, 3, yes. Like this. And then I make it smaller. And hi Avocado, you were coming and thank you so much for the follow. So if I make it smaller, like this, and you can see that I apply my smooth modifier, it will make it look like kind of round. So I'm going to remove the top and bottom because we don't see it and we can save any polygon at this point. So delete faces. And then I'm going to make it small, 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 like this. And I'm going to plant it in my saw, like this. And then I'm going to use my edge selection on top, like this. And I'm going to use the Control left click to draw a path. So I'm going to remove this to have more space. And basically what I'm going to do, okay, let me put it maybe not in the center, or maybe like this, rotating. Hi, I am to get your stream. Love your CC. Thank you so much and welcome in my stream. We are almost done, so but we still have a few things going up, going. So you can see that we made the texture in Photoshop, that we imported it, and then we created the leaves, and then the bundles, and then the fluffy plants. And now I'm seeing that maybe my planter is too big, or maybe my leaves are not big enough. Okay, let me see. I think my leaves are not big enough. So I'm selecting my leaves and I want to make them bigger than that, more fluffy leaves. Yes, better. So I'm selecting my stem here, and with my wireframe, my point is to create some stem that will go either way. I don't care if they don't reach the leaves, because with all this fluffiness, we don't really see where it goes. And if anyone send me a message like, I had a look at your plant, and when you really zoom in, the stem doesn't reach the leaves, so that's weird. Well, I don't care. There, fun fact. So let me fix this first. It's just how it looks that counts, and not how it's supposed to be real, because we are doing video games, we are not doing some realistic 3D models. So there we go. And I'm running. Well, that no one ever sent me this message, but if anyone sent me a message, be sure I will repost them, definitely. And that's not an invitation to send me this message, by the way. So selecting these edges and control click to just go, and that's it. Easy peasy. Don't forget to mark seam, so we can unwrap it like this, and then we will be able to do that, to do something with it. I will show you later. For now, I'm just unwrapping it here. And then I'm selecting this again, so Shift D. It's so fluffy. I like when plants are fluffy. So we are creating another one, easy peasy, like this. Even 3 is enough. We don't have to do much more than that. And mark seam, and I select and unwrap. All right. And then basically we have to, we make a third one, just you know. So make sure this is planted. So I'm selecting a third one. I'm going on top view to be sure that it's somewhere else. Like this. And let's go on side view to change a bit. And then I'm going to go that way. And mark seam. And unwrap. So just to be sure that they are normal on the right direction, I'm going to recalculate, and nothing changed, so that's fine. And now we are almost finished. So we probably need a little bit of more steam, because this looks really weird, and I definitely will receive some strange messenger. But we are basically done. We are at 2000, which is good. I have to really stay at 2000, so I'm really trying to. And if I need to lower it, I will probably just erase one leaf. But for now, I'm keeping them. Okay, let's add a little bit of more steam. So maybe I just duplicate that one. So Shift D to duplicate, and then I'm rotating. And now I want to create maybe something different, meaning I want to change its thickness. So to do that very easily, I will just keep all the horizontal edges and I will remove the vertical edges. And then I will change to individual origin and I will hit S, meaning that everything will be resized, but only and individually around each edges I have selected. So by hitting individual origins and S, I can change the thickness without having to change its length. And I can also change the direction by using the proportional editing with connected, because if I move it, then it will only you will move the step all around. So if my circle is big enough to change everything from the stem, but small enough to doesn't change the origin, then I can definitely rearrange wherever I want this stem. OMG, that's how you do it. I have searched for just that. Yes. So this is easy because there is only 3 faces. Sometimes it's more because you have more faces, but definitely the best way to do it. So what I want to do is rotate it a little because I want it to reach that plant here. Kind of. Okay. All right. And maybe one more here. So I will use that one as well. So Shift D, then rotate like this. And then maybe this is too long, so I'm just making it shorter. And there. I will make it thicker, this one. So again, I select my shape and remove the long one. And by keeping the individual, I just resize it to make it bigger, like this. Then I'm going to reuse that one again. Shift D, RZ. Because I want it to be used for that one. So I'm going to select the bottom to make as if it was in the soil, and then I'm going to redirect that one where I want, meaning in the butt of this bundle. Kind of. Yes. All right, let's see. Material. It looks better. I think it looks better. So now we just have this little problem of the leaves being inside the planter. So with the proportional editing, we are going to fix that, but we are going also to remove a few leaves because we are above 2000. So I'm going to remove that one. Sorry. Bye bye. And one last one. And well, that one, I guess. Bye bye. All right. We almost 2,100, but let's say it's fine. Okay, it's between us, and it's a plant, so you know, plants are special. Like this, yes, and a little less changes here. Looks so good. Thank you. Oop. There. And that one needs to go up. And this whole leaves no, this one. This one, yes, needs to go up, and that one as well. Maybe just that part. Yes, and oops. Yes, and this one. We don't really see what we're doing right now. All right, looking better. Just need a little bit here, but we have to find the white one. Yes, that one. Looking good. Okay, I think we are done with the plant. Was the couple extra polish? Yes, to me, I think it's worth it. Okay, I have. When you think it's done, it's usually never done, and then you have to decide when you know too much is too much. And now I'm stopping, because or else you just spend so much time like on the final touches. This is weird. This is very weird. What's happening with this plant? What happened to you? What is this? Who did this to you? There. You could move the leaves all there. Yes, definitely. Could be kind of relaxing, I guess. So let's see the material. Looks fine. Now we are going to first we are going to place the stem on our texture, and then we are going to create the texture of our pot of the planter in Substance Painter, and then we are going to assemble everything in Scenes4 Studio, and hopefully it will be the end of our plant making. So first, I put all my stem here on the right, so I'm going to use my C tool selected like this and select a piece of it, and then use the Ctrl plus so I can select all of it. And I'm going to, no, I don't need that one, sorry, not you, like this. And I don't need to be very big anything, because they are hidden and they're basically just green, so I can make it kind of very small, and it will have a very basic color. It's not really important, so this is fine. If I want it, oops, if I want it maybe a bit taller, I can probably use that way here. All right, so because I want to be able to do another version of this same plant, I'm going to bake the texture of the pot separately from the leaves. So to do that, I'm going to select my planter and move it on the side, GX1. So when I will bake my texture on Substance Painter, I will not have the ambient occlusion coming from my leaves. So this, I will export it in OBJ and selection only and write material, and this will be the pot. And then go back to its place. All right, so I will save this, and I need to create my package from Sims 4 Studio. So, what is right material? The pot? Is it what you asking? What is it be? Oh no, right material in the right material is if you affected some material to your item. In Substance Painter, when important, it will create as many layers as you have material. So that can be useful if you have different texture from the same object. So you want to separate the texture from this part and the texture from this part, so they are on different layer. But most of the time it's not useful. It's kind of the opposite, because you want everything you do on one texture. So if you untoggle right material, it will ignore completely what you have made of material in Blender, and it will be considered as sharing the same UV space for all the items. I'll show you. For example, when I made my spiral stairs, the modern one, the concrete one, has two parts. It has the bottom one and the top part. So I created them in the same Blender, but I give one the name top and the other one the name bottom. So now you have the bottom part here, which is the UV map of this one, and the top part here, which is a different UV map. So that's important because we want two texture. But in my case, with my plant, I created a material so it was easier in Blender to see what I was doing. But in Substance Painter, I only want one texture. So I don't want to Blender to write the material in my OBJ export. So if I import now my plant in 2048, it will only have one texture. Oh, you know what? We forgot to put the green leaves. Damn it. Oops. Well, you know what? We are just going to replace the green leaves from what we already have. So let's say that one, not that one, because this one is a baby one. That one, we're going to select anything that can be maybe a green leaves. Everything that can be green leaves, please come in, because we forgot the green leaf, and I think the green leaves are important. Okay, so all of those will become green starting now. Okay, you start today, no raise, now you're green. Fortunately, the shape is almost the same, so we're just going to move around. So I'm using the C selection because there is actually several meshes overlapped here. So if I want to select, like if I click only one, I will move only one. So if I click the C one, I can select everything on it. Yes, that looks better with the green one. Okay, phew. Fine. So about my pot. So first we are going to add some soil. So I already have a texture for soils that I'm using all the time. Like this. So I'm going to make a black mask, and with my selection only select the face in the middle like this. And I usually like my soil being very dark because it's kind of look like more like this, and probably make the scale smaller like this. Better. And now for the pot, we are going to use some ceramic. So what do I have as a ceramic? I think I really like, or maybe it was in the Smart Mark. So we are going to bake the selected texture. So in 2048. I also need to change the HDRY. I'm becoming better at pronouncing this HDRY. If you've seen my tutorial about baking, I'm having such a hard time saying that word, HDRY. So difficult. So I think I like that one. So when I download it, it looks like a ceramic. So we just need to tweak a little bit the settings to make it smaller and less cracked. So white mask this time, and we are putting in black what we don't want, meaning the soil. Then what I want to do is basically reduce the scale of it. So what I'm going to do is, like, I'm going to remove everything, and little by little I will change what I need to change. So first, the color changer. So I don't want this, I want it to be easier to change the color. So I want it to be very roughness, very shiny, yes. Not metallic, definitely not. And my, let's say my basic one will be white. Then the noise height. So that's nice, but we can put it probably smaller. So I'm going to, no, not smaller like this. The scale will be 1, yes. So it's more precise. Then color variation. Okay, we can let it that way. I really wanted to try SP, but I think mine is different version, so I had trouble. Yes, actually, Suspense Paint changed a lot in the latest months because it had been bought by Adobe. So they are changing a lot of stuff, I think. So this is a little bit too beige for me. So I'm going to keep it white and kind of multiply. So it will. So the nice thing I like to do with my Smart Mask on Substance Painter is when I do my color swatches, only have to change one color and it will change everything. So the more I play with the fusion mode of layers, the more it will be easier to make all the different swatches. So if I have this depending on this color, then every time I will change the color, my base color, I will have to change everything again on top of it. So it's more annoying. Color variation, it's kind of the same. I probably use it as a multiply, but then it will have to be lighter, so it doesn't put too much difference on it. All right, dirt is always nice. I will keep it that way. Dark spot, I don't want dark spot. rough overall. Nah, I don't want rough overall. Edges, nice, same. I want it bright and I want it overlay, so it's same for everyone. And then hide polish, this is useless, no difference. And bubbles hate, so that's fine, but I want it maybe, no, not that one, that one. Fill, maybe more scale, 3, yes, so I have more details. No, we don't see it anymore, so 2 was nice. Okay, and then my favorite, the crackles, the cracks. So this, I just need to scale the cells that are used to make this pattern. So for now it's 1, let's try to make it smaller, and maybe 3, yes. So it's nice, but it does look a little too dirty for something for Christmas. So maybe if I remove this, it would be nicer. Yes. And is it dirt? No. Is it the edges? Yes. I'll probably change the edges. I want something cleaner. All right. Love the texture. Thank you. So I want to keep it simple. And we don't really need to take care about the leaves because we already made it. So once we are ready with this texture, we only need to replace it. I will although just put some green on the stem, not because I'm going to use it, but because I want to see it in Photoshop, because I will replace it in Photoshop. Because they are overlapping, it's kind of difficult to create some texture in Substance Painter from meshes that are overlapping in the UV map when you are using the ambient occlusion and the benchmark maps, because it registers inside the UV map where the light comes from, but because they are overlapping, the light comes from different parts while being on the same UV map, so it kind of creates some very buggy stuff like that. So you can't really create you can't really create texture in Substance Painter while using this. So one way to do it is actually keeping only one stem, put it in Substance Painter, make the texture, and then add it back in Blender. So that's something we can do on another tutorial maybe one day. It's what I did for my spiral stairs, for example, not for the concrete one, but for the industrial one and for the wooden one. I actually made the texture for only 3 steps, and then I repeat it later, so it kind of saves space, so the texture on it was more precise. And 3 step, not only 1, because if I make only 1 step, then it will really look like it was copy paste, because the pattern will be exactly the same, exactly like we had actually for now in The Sims 4. That's why I don't like stairs in The Sims 4. Anyway, so I'm going to remove my ceramic on here, and instead I'm going to create a simple fill layer of green. Doesn't have to be green, but I want it green. Here. So I'm going to save it first. Furniture. Live plant here. All right, and then I'm going to export it. So first I'm going to export the normal and roughness. I also need to change the path of it. Oops. Nope. I always mistake Streamlabs, plant, All right, export, and then I'm going to choose 2D view. Okay. So here we have our normal roughness and material view. So I'm going to open this one. No, not this one. I think we already have the Photoshop one open. So first, the roughness. So if you don't know how to do a specular map, I made a tutorial about it, especially and very precise on my YouTube channel. So I won't go over it because it's kind of always the same. So I'm just doing my thing, and you can either ask questions or you can go check the tutorial, because it will be probably faster for you to just check the tutorial where everything is explained in detail. And I'm playing a little music too and resizing it. And nope. Image texture, I need to keep the proportion like this. All right, the normal map as well. Yes, you explained well. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was very difficult when I started making CC because there were no very like straight to the point explanation about that. So now about this. So basically, I will add to what I already made here the texture of my pot. I actually like how it becomes the stem because it's very, I think it's nice. So I will just Photoshop it. So this is less weird, but we can probably keep it that way, I think. So I will do some Photoshop magic in here and see how it goes when imported. So I'm basically using the I think it's the stamp in English, duplicating stamp. So let's see how this goes using this. And it is so hard to find it sometimes, so I appreciate you doing this video. You're very welcome. I should do more, but it takes so much time, and I need silence, and when I have people working around in my house, it's more difficult, and I also don't like it very much cooking. So it's a lot of work. I think it's 2 days to make 1 10-minute videos. So now that I started streaming, I find it easier to stream. So I'm going to first I'm going to resize it at 124, and then I'm going to select only the pot that I made with the stem. Control C, and back in my texture, note this one, I'm going to do Control Shift V, so it pastes in place. So it's kind of overriding this, but we don't care because we didn't use this. We used only the leaf. What we noted before is that this leaf was a little bit too dark, so we are going to make it lighter, especially more close to that one, to not much too big of a difference. So I think it was also more red, more maybe more pink, definitely more pink. I think it's closer now. and we are going to save it. So here's the difference between if you are using alpha channel or not. Here in this plant, we are not using the alpha transparency because we made our plant, our leaf, inside the leaf here. So we don't need this that is transparent to be transparent. We don't need it. So I can export my texture in PNG and I don't need the alpha layer here. So I'm just going to export it here. But if I was actually using the alpha layer, then I would have needed to have my alpha channel with my mask. And let's go back to it. Because my pot here is not transparent, I will need to add it on my alpha layer. So as if you remember, what is white is showing, what is black is not showing. So I would need it to be white. So I've selected what I imported, meaning the Soylent pots here, and in alpha I will just hit Ctrl E to invert selection, and then I can just draw to make sure everything is white like this. But actually we didn't use those, so I probably want it that way to be sure. Kind of. And then saving DDS. But this is not what we're doing today. But I'm still saving it just in case I want to change my mind, but I won't. But just in case. It's easier to remove than to just delete what you did, and you just can't go back. Anyway, so because we don't use alpha channel, we don't need to use any specific item. We can use any clutter. So usually I use mine because I have item I can clone that I made with TSR workshop. And one day, this is another tutorial I need to post about, is how to use TSR workshop to actually create objects that have several mesh cuts or not. So I basically remove the drop shadows from my package, so I don't have to do to hide the tiny piece of drop shadow in my pieces for clutter objects. But if I wanted to do transparency, I would have to clone an item that already has transparency. So the more logical choice would be to actually clone a plant. So let's say I want to make a plant. I just choose a plant and I will clone it. So just to show you, I don't need it, so I will go back on my step later, but I just want to show you guys that if I clone a plant, let's say this one, because it's a surprise, I can't name him properly or you will guess what it is. So I will just name him Poinsettia. So much secret. And by the way, if you're coming back on my stream on Tuesday, we will probably do some Christmas objects for a surprise and secret project that I can't talk about. Haha. So you can see here that this is also using transparency. You can see that they only used a plane and kind of applied the texture inside it. So what is blue is supposed to be transparent in game. You can see here that what is white is transparent too. So they kind of make everything, they made exactly like me, meaning they have the pot and they have the soil and they have the plants, and then they draw the transparency around. And you can see that this is using a basic font, but if we go to the shader, we will probably find some transparency settings to set the transparency. So if you want to make invisible and transparent and not translucent, so translucent is when you see through, like a glass or a curtains, for example, a sheer curtains. while transparency is only a mask. So if I go in the shader, and for that I'm clicking on the first model load, go in data, then edit item. Here you have both shader. So if I click on Fong and then on the fourth edit item button, I will be able to edit the shader. So the shader is here, but I don't recommend changing it if you don't know what you're doing, because only changing the shader won't change all the aspects, as there are some settings inside the shader. So if you want to change the shader without changing the shading, there's a big chance that it won't work. So those are the swatches. So by default you have two. You don't need to change them because they are no use for us. Those one are the first swatch. You have a default one and one when it's burnt. Most objects are not burnt, but they can be. So every time you edit the default one, you also need to edit the burnt one. There are some objects that will have even more than that. Some objects that are on and off will have on and off. There are some objects like counter, for example, that will have a dot one as well. There are different states of the object. Lady Spartacus says, got a secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you'll save. Sorry. I don't know it. Wait, which song is that? Sorry, that song pops in my head every time someone mentions a secret. Well, I'm kind of mentioning the secret because, you know, I kind of trying to create the buzz, but I didn't ask if I had the permission to create the buzz around this surprise. So just in case, you know, but yeah. Anyway, how great, just in time to finish off my advent calendar. Yeah, I want to do the advent calendar too. Like I did it last year. I don't know if any of you guys were already one of my patrons from last year in December, but I made an interactive advent calendar on my website with one item every day, and it was, I think, very fun. Anyway, so set one default edit item. Here, the most important settings is that one, alpha mask threshold. The alpha mask threshold is how much through the mask the game will let on. So if you have a scale from 0 to 100, 0 is not letting anything through and 100 is letting everything through. If your mask have some shades of gray and you have 50 in the alpha mask threshold, then everything between the gray and black won't show, and everything between the gray and white will show. So basically this setting is how precise and how much on a gray scale it will show in game. So if you're working with something transparent like a plant, for example, my palm I showed you earlier, if your result is kind of very crispy, you might want to change this setting, because depending on how high or how low it will be, it will completely change the appearance. To illustrate this, I will show you how the contour works in Photoshop and you will understand. For example, I will take my first two leaves here. I'm copying them and I will add a contour one. So let's say if I was adding an alpha channel and okay, sorry, this. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's fine. It's just to show you guys. So let's say, okay, whatever. We don't really see it, but the game sees it. Here, between the black and white, there will be some shades of gray. And the more precise, the more the threshold number, the more it is high, the more it will shows, and the less it is small. Okay, let me show you with this better, because my English is not that good to use that much complicated phrase. Okay, let's imagine that this is your threshold. So at 0, it will be not showing at all, but let me think about how to explain this. So 0 is not showing at all. So basically what you will have is you will see the background, meaning what is white here. And then you want to raise the threshold, so it will actually takes everything around it. But it's so hard to explain. Basically, if you have trouble with your texture being pixelized because you made some transparency, you can play with these settings to try to make it better. It will really depend on your texture and how the texture has been made, if it was very precise or not. If you want something to be even more precise, you can actually do it by hand by using the vector, I don't know, it's the feather in but I'm not sure, calligraphy tool maybe, I don't know how to call it. It's P in Photoshop. So if you want to make it even more precise, you can use that tool. And definitely, if you want a better result, you use this technique, meaning you create a background that is the same color of your item. So when the threshold kind of overlap, then you won't really see the difference in game. It's kind of difficult, but it's very simple, but it's difficult to explain. Anyway, so because I don't need the transparency, I will actually create a basic item. So I'm using my clutter item by default, which is those headphones here. And I like them because they are only one thing. So when I import my model, so I need to put 0 here. I don't need to make the shadow load because it's 0, so I can just use the same. So I will create the medium low later, not on the stream because it's not really interesting, but I will create a shadow load. Actually, I'm going to do it to show you how we can remove some edges inside the plant without touching anything in here. So first we are going to remove that one. We don't really need it. That's the only one. And then I'm going to use this option here, which is called Keep UV and Edit Mesh Selection in Sync. Basically what it does is everything I select in here, I will select in here. So what I will do is I will select, for example, all those edges here and all those edges here. And that's it for now. And I will hit delete edge loop. And it will delete all edge loop in here. So we still have a little bit too much. So from my baby here, I'm going to maybe remove that one. No, maybe those one. Let's try edge loop. Yes, didn't really help. There's not much I can remove actually. It's kind of difficult. Well, let's say will be enough, because not much I can remove when we're doing plants. So medium it is, and medium. And then my favorite moment is when I actually replace my texture, because yay, it looks amazing. What two things I can do? First, replacing my normal map and roughness map like this. And then what we can do is, for now, you can see that the result is a little too flat. So what we can do is make our leaf a little bit darker and lighter. So darker on the bottom and lighter at the tip, so it will actually have more contrast on it. So let's take, so first I don't need this, and I don't need it as well, but I don't care. So I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use this tool called Density, I think. Let's try it, I'm not sure. And I'm going, no, that's too much. To darken a little bit the bottom of my, I really don't like it. No. I'm more going to create a new layer, and while selecting it, I will just paint over it with basic paint, but instead of normal, I will probably use the multiply one. And then I will select a red, but not too much because it's multiply. Nope. Multiply. Here. Yes, better. So I'm using this, and this is a bit too much too. Yeah, like this. Even this is still too much. And probably too red, like this, and lighter on top. So I create a new layer, and this will be more increase. I think this is overlay in English. Nope, too much. Too much as well. And then I think this is a little bit too much, so I'm going to, oh, I think I just can, like this. Okay, let's try and yes. So you can see now that it actually adds a lot more depth. So I just need to make it more subtle, because it's not enough subtle to my taste. So I'm just going to remove it, so it's more progressive. Beautiful, thank you. Okay, let's try it again. Yes. So it's a bit too... Here, I think I can do better. Try again. So it's definitely something that you can really see the result and understand why it's applied to your item. All right. So I think we are done with this object. So I'm going to rename it so I can find it. So now we are going to test it in game. And if it works, it will be the end. And I will be able to go to bed because it's 2 AM here. So late. So let's copy this. And paste it. And launch the game. Suspense. Search for poinsettia. Oops, here, there, yay! And here we go, our beautiful poinsettia for Christmas. So let's see it inside because sometimes the sun is too bright. So let's put it here, maybe with some light in my room. So it looks good. It looks exactly how we want, except one thing, sorry, oops. Okay, one thing is not working is the double-sided, meaning that if we go under it, we don't actually sew behind it. So that's good because then I can show you how to do it because that's important. That's something that you can use very often. Ahead of that, it looks good. I think it's very fluffy. It's exactly how I wanted it. So I'm going to show you how to edit the double-sided. Looks very fluffy. I like it. I like the fluffiness. So to fix the double-sided, because it's true that the item I cloned doesn't have double side. It's so lovely and fluffy. This will be called fluffy poinsettia. So first you need to have only one swatches to do that. You can have more swatches, but then you will have to edit each swatch individually, and you don't want that because it's easier to just replace the texture and create a new swatches than, you know, re-edit everything. Then we'll have to edit it for both high load and medium load, and medium load is hidden in the model, meaning this object has only 2 LOD, medium and high. So if your object have 3 LOD, you will have middle load, high, middle load, medium here, and the third one, the last one, is always hidden inside the model. So click on the model, data, edit item, and then you click on the load detail here, and it will here, because this one has only 2 LOD, then the medium is inside the model. So we are first going to do the high model. So the difference between the model load is the font one is checkered, while the shadow load is all gray. So we need to edit that one. So click on data and measures, edit item, and then make sure you have the right shader selected. In my object is easy because there is only one. So I click on that one, and then I'm looking for the 4th edit item from the top. So it's material resources, but if you want to be sure that you click on the right one, just count 1, 2, 3, and 4 button here. Then you have the list of swatches. So you will have to edit that one and that one, which are the swatches. If you have more swatches, you will have a very long list of swatches. So let's say you have 8 swatches, you will have 16 lines to edit. And don't forget that you also have to edit it for the medium load, so that will be 32 lines to edit instead of 4. So that's why I always advise to not create swatches before doing all this. Because when you will be creating more swatches, it will just duplicate everything you have done on the first one. So definitely set everything and then do the swatches. So click on the first one and click on edit item. And here on the list, you will have a line called double-sided. By default, all objects have 0, but we will put 1. It's binary, it's 0 or 1. So it's double-sided or it's not. So 0 it's not, and 1 it is, and that's it. That's very easy. Second one is on the but one. So double-sided is 1, and save. Now we have to do it again for the medium load. So I'm clicking on the model and then on the medium and edit item. 4th button from the top here. First line, edit item, double-sided 1, and double-sided on the but swatches 1. Save. I will try that for blankets too. Yes, definitely. And also my technique is once you've done one, you can put it on your recolorables folder, and then I always duplicate the same one when I'm doing blankets. So blanket or tower, I usually use the same one that I duplicate all over again. So usually, no, it's not what I wanted to use. I have my own library of item I usually duplicate again. So I have item that have 2 mesh cuts. I just know them. That have 2 mesh cuts, item that have 3 mesh cuts, item that has no drop shadows and stuff like that. And then I just recreate them. So usually I just reusing my own plants. Sometimes I'm and I know I'm always using the same towel to do the blankets and everything that is double-sided. I should have chose that one to make my plant, but I forgot about it. So let's try it again, and then let's call it a night. It's so cold. I'm not happy with the winter being here. I really like summer, and I felt like we didn't have a real summer. It was so rainy all the time. Weather was not nice. right? Where was it? Here, our little poinsettia. So now you can see that it's double-sided, making it even more fluffy. So it's perfect. I really like it. I hope you do too. So I'm going to take, no, I can't. Yes, it's fluffy. So fluffy, I'm gonna die. So that will be all for this tutorial. We made a very nice plant for Christmas for my surplus project that I can't speak about. Well, I spoke about it a lot, but you know. And I hope you learn everything that you wanted to learn about plants. If you still want to create some stuff and you're stuck and you have questions, you can still join my Discord and ask questions. I can write it on here. I prepared something. Discord. Like this. So you can join my Discord and ask your question about CC, or just, you know, share pictures of yourself and positive note of your days, or pictures of your pets, because we also have a special channel for pets because pets are cute. I hope you understand everything, and thank you so much for being here. You can always support me on my Patreon if you like my work and if you are able to, of course. I just released those wonderful Spira stairs, and because I'm working on this project, there won't be another set this week. I hope you don't mind, but there will be a lot of more coming after that. Next stream will be on Tuesday at 10 p.m. CET, and we will be working on Christmas item. So depending on how you are, we see what we do. I already started mood boards about what I'm planning to do. So hopefully I will see you there. Thank you so much for coming here, and have a good night or a good day depending on where you are. Bye, and thanks so much again.